we are doing the December Tarotscope for Capricorn. So keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you find that the reading doesn't resonate, you can always check your moon, rising, or Venus placements because sometimes those will resonate more. I do offer personal readings. You can get all the information in the description box. Sorry. So this is just going to be a check-in for the month of December for you. Again, this is for Capricorn. So we're just going to see what the energy is, what to expect, any guidance from your guides, anything that your guides want you to be aware of. So let us see what December has in store for you. I'm not a typical psychic reader. Those of you who know me probably have figured that out by now. I'm more reading the energy, and I'm more inclined to tell you what you can do to fix it, right? I believe that we are the creators of our reality, right? I believe that we are creating our reality. Not that it's all up to fate and you just have to sit back and like accept whatever's thrown at you, right? So I'm not going to be the reader that's going to say your person loves you so much but they're scared and I'm not going to tell you stuff like that. I'm going to tell you the energy and what that energy is flowing towards and what that energy is going to manifest for you and how you can change or adjust your energy accordingly if you don't like where that energy is going, right? But I'm not the type of reader that's going to say, your man's going to show up in 3 days. I'm going to tell you what you can do to get yourself in the energy to experience and receive what you want and put you in the state of fulfillment. So just throwing that out there. Sometimes it will come across as, sometimes people can interpret my readings as I'm telling you everything that you're doing wrong. But I'm trying to help you adjust your energy. I'm a Scorpio, so I pick up all the shadow stuff. So sometimes it's not always the fun, happy, frilly stuff. So just throwing that out there. I am a reader that encourages transformation into your most empowered, highest self. So with that in mind, what is it that your guides and your higher self are wanting you to know for the energy for the month of December? I just heard that song, It's the End of the World, as we know it, that REM song. And I don't feel like it's a drastic, like a scary message. I feel like it's a message that everything is changing. In a good way. Everything is changing for you in a really profound way this month, especially within the way that you connect to other people, especially within your love life, especially within your, I want to say like family unit, but it doesn't have to be like family, but like your people, your soul family. You're connecting to people in a more, it's like, I feel like we all go through periods in our lives where we connect to a lot of like heavy connections, toxic relationships, But all of that is for the purpose of like teaching us and helping us evolve. And then once we've got out of that phase in our life, the people that we connect to are more connected to our soul's growth, right? And our ability to experience and enjoy life instead of having to fix everything. And I feel like that's what you are shifting into. Like you've learned the lessons, you've understood the lessons. Right now it's time for you to connect to real love, real friendship, real devotion, real support, people that are genuinely looking out for your best good. I do feel that it's really important to, instead of looking to the outer world for the answers, you're going to find better results and better solutions by looking into your inner truth, by looking within. The answers that you need are going to be within. Flowing in your truth, flowing in your values, flowing in even just like taking time to check in with yourself, right? It's easy for us to get into the space of, what do people need from me? What do I need to do? What do I need to get accomplished, right? And we don't very often check in with ourselves to see if we're doing good, right? Or to see how we're feeling and to see what our truth in the matter is. And I feel like that's something that would benefit you this month. Being more receptive to what all of this means for you. Like, how does this make me feel? What do I think about this? What do I need in this situation? And how can I reflect my own inner truth into my outer world? Instead of looking for the external circumstances to validate the truth that you're feeling or perceiving, let that truth that you're feeling and perceiving be what you are bringing into every single experience. Don't look for the validation that you're right. Tell yourself that this is what's right for me, and so I'm going to move forward in that energy. I feel like your inner child, like your source of joy, your source of excitement, your source of creativity, your source of excitement for the future, the part of you that has all of these dreams and desires and has all of this excitement for life. I feel like it's almost like this energy, like your inner child was locked in a tower, right? And like the Rapunzel story, right? Your inner child was restricted. You know, Capricorns in general usually tend to be Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Moon, and even sometimes Capricorn Venus. But Capricorns tend to be people that had to like grow up too fast. Like a Capricorn is somebody who naturally is going to take responsibility, is somebody who naturally wants to put in the work, who is naturally a very hard worker. And usually it is in part because the way that they grew up, they usually were in positions that they had to become an adult very fast, like an oldest child, or even like, there wasn't a lot of structure in the household, or they grew up in a household where they had to take a lot of responsibility. They had a lot of work to do. And so it kind of like limits that inner child energy, right? It's like that inner child that just wants to play and be reckless and have fun and not worry about the limitations. Capricorn probably has the hardest time with that energy. And I feel like, even though it seems like a difficult message, and I feel like I need to be very careful with this. You've always had to be the leader. You've always had to be the one that stepped up. You've always had to, or felt as if you had to be the one that took responsibility for everything. It would be worthwhile for you to give yourself permission to be like, I don't want to say a follower, because that's not the right word. Have you ever seen that movie, Yes Man, with Jim Carrey, where he had to say yes to everything and it pushed him into experiencing new things? It's kind of like it would benefit you to give yourself a couple days here and there to just embody that energy as much as you can comfortably, right? Take responsibility only for what you need to take responsibility for, right? Only what is like, your safety, your security, your well-being. If you're overdoing it or taking too much responsibility for other people, dial that back, right? I know that's easier said than done, but give yourself like a day here and there where I'm not going to worry about what needs to get done. I'm not going to worry about the work that needs to be done. I'm going to give myself permission to be free and have fun and enjoy myself. Because I feel like your inner child just wants to step forward for a little bit. Your creative side, your fun side. And I feel like you should give yourself permission to do that, even if it's scary. Because sometimes we learn, if there's like fear of doing something because you don't want to mess up, you don't want to make a mistake. We learn a lot through the mistakes that we make. And that's not to say be reckless and go do a bunch of illegal stuff. And that's not to say, spend all your money to where you don't have any money left to pay the bills. It's not to say be that kind of reckless, right? But give yourself permission to experience things without trying to put too much structure around it, without trying to plan it out to such an extensive degree. And again, that's not saying to dismiss the person that you are, right? Because you are the person that believes in hard work and believes in taking responsibility. It's not to say to dismiss that part of you, right? But not to let that part of you override your entire life to the point that you're not just relaxing and having fun and letting your full inner truth shine, right? Not just the productive part of you, not just the structured part of you, but the fun-loving side of you, the side of you that doesn't always color inside the lines and can still see the beauty in it. You know what I mean? You're showing up as Five of Swords. And so Five of Swords is just this energy of just kind of feeling like you have to fight for everything, right? You have to fight for everything. You see a truth that other people don't necessarily see, right? You might feel that you're more advanced in your perception than other people, and so you're feeling like you're always having to teach people and guide people and or or you feel like people don't always get you, or you feel like you're the one that is always having to clean up the mess, and that might be building up a lot of resentment for you. And it's like, I feel like it's like there's so much that you deal with from other people. And there may even be so many messes that you're having to clean up of other people's that it's really hard to see the value within yourself, to see how much you have grown, to be really proud of yourself. I also feel like there's this energy with you that you are more advanced within your perception, within your awareness, within your abilities, than the people that you're connected to, whether that be with work, whether that be with your family. And that's not to discredit the people that you're connected to, but you are in a better position, or you have a higher level of understanding than the people that you're connected to. You have more stability than the people that you're connected to. And so with that, it puts you in a space where you're always feeling like you're having to clean up messes or fix or help everybody around you. And it takes away from being able to celebrate your own growth, right? To celebrate yourself, because you're advanced, you're further ahead, you're a leader. And so it's hard for people to appreciate the level that you're at and celebrate you at the level that you're at, because not everybody understands it enough to go, wow, this is a big deal. You make it look easy, right? And that's maybe how it gets interpreted by other people. You've put a lot of effort into yourself, into getting yourself where you are. And I also kind of feel like you might feel this month that your own independence is being threatened. Like people are asking a lot of you right now, or demanding a lot of you, or just needing a lot of help. I feel like there is a lot of changes that have happened over the last 8 weeks for you. I feel like a lot of like pretty drastic, pretty quick changes, maybe even some unexpected changes. Mind you, this seems to all be for the good, and I feel like you're in a space with all of this change that you're like, damn, I'm really proud of myself. Like, I have done a lot, I have accomplished a lot, but it's like you leveled up, like you jumped 2 levels ahead, and everybody around you is like frantically trying to figure out what do I do, right? I also kind of, like, it almost feels like somebody who skipped a bunch of grades in school, right? I remember in high school, we had this kid who was 9 in high school. He started high school the same year I did, and he graduated 2 years before I did. Just a genius, right? But I just remember, like, he was so tiny, right? Seeing this poor tiny little kid run through high school, and it was probably really difficult for him, right? His mind was advanced, right? And that's why his learning environment was, they put him in high school, right? But probably on an emotional level, he wasn't quite there, right? And so it was probably difficult. It was probably difficult for him to connect to people and make friends because he was so much younger. And I feel like that's kind of the energy that you're in, or maybe that you feel like you've been in your entire life, that you feel like you are so far ahead of other people, or you've always been so advanced in whether it be intelligence, whether it be in your stability, whatever it is, you're more advanced than other people. And so you're so far ahead, it's hard to connect because there's not a lot of people on the same level as you, right? But to connect to this group of people, they're in a lower level. And so you have to really be careful with, I don't mean for this to sound like mean or even like make it like a hierarchy thing, but to connect to people who aren't in the same level, like space, perspective, whatever, as you, in a lower space, you have to be careful with that because you don't want to lower your energy down too much. Like if you are somebody who is fully awakened, right? It's difficult to form really in-depth connections with people who aren't really awakened, right? Who don't have that perspective. And that's not to say that people here are any better off. It's not to say anything like that, but it's difficult if you're operating from a different level of perspective. Because people who aren't spiritually inclined or have that level of perspective aren't going to understand you, right? And so I feel like that's where you are. Like it's difficult to, you've excelled in your line of work quicker than most people would. You have excelled in your own life and in your own independence quicker than other people would. And so you're at that in-between place where it's hard to be surrounded by people that are celebrating you, because a lot of people aren't fully going to understand the level that you're at, right? But you want to connect with people. And so, Eight of Swords, you feel limited. It's like you have figured out the secrets of the universe and feel like you have to teach this to people, but the people that you're teaching it to don't understand the words that you're using because they haven't made it to that level. And you want to be seen, right? You want to be recognized. You want to be able to enjoy your success in a more public way, right? You want to be, and not in an egotistical way, right? But you have fought very hard for this success, and you want to be able to see evidence of the success in your external world. But the external world is just not matching that level of success yet, because you're meant to be you're a leader, right? And so it makes you question whether or not you're on the right path. It makes you feel very lonely, right? It makes you feel very isolated, which can very easily make you question if you're on the right path. But it's kind of like, I like this message. It's kind of like you jump-started your growth, right? You progressed a lot farther or a lot faster than most people because you put in a lot of the physical work, right? You can afford now to focus on your inner world, right? Focus on your emotional world, focus on your emotional needs, focus on your inner child, focus on taking time to nurture yourself, to celebrate yourself, just to check in with your feelings, because I feel like the next step for you is an emotional awakening. You've succeeded in the physical world, right? You've succeeded. You've got yourself far beyond where you even, far beyond where you wanted to be or need to be, right? You've excelled. So now that you've gotten this far ahead within your physical stability, even though you might not be seeing that match you, right? You might not be seeing those connections that you're looking for. In order to receive the connections that you're worthy of, the love that you're worthy of, the celebration that you're worthy of, you have to open that up for yourself, right? You have to give yourself time to it's like it's time to connect to the inner world, to the intuitive side of you, to the feminine aspect of you. Because your masculine energy is what is doing things and accomplishing things, right? Your feminine energy is what is receiving and everything. It's the magnet that is pulling things to you, right? You've accomplished everything in your outer world. Now it's time for you to receive. But in order to get into receptive mode, you have to kind of like tell your masculine energy, hey, we want to rest for a little bit. We don't need to get anything done. We don't need to figure everything out. We don't need to overly analyze everything. And so your guidance is to look at your daily routine. To look at your daily routine and make some little mild changes within your daily routine. And I know that sounds weird, but you probably have a very structured routine, right? And that's valuable. That's a good thing. I'm not saying to dismiss the whole routine, but something that'll make it easier for you to connect to that inner child, to connect to that softer side of you. Not that you have to become something that you're not that you have to be completely soft and feminine. It's not to say that, but slowing down enough to get yourself into receptive, creative mode, right? So look at your daily routine and find the part in your daily routine that either stresses you out the most or is such a routine that you kind of zone out when you're doing it, right? And make some very mild changes to that routine. They don't have to be drastic changes, just a mild or just enough of a change to where you have to be fully present in that activity, right? So for example, if you taking a different way to work every day, if you eat the same thing for breakfast or eat the same time every day, changing it just a little bit. It doesn't have to be anything drastic, right? But just enough of a shift to where you have to be fully present, that you have no choice but to be fully present. And just see how that makes you feel, because it might feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, right? But the more you can do those things, then it gets you comfortable in being in that more vulnerable space, because you will be able to see my inner child and my feminine energy can rest a little bit or have fun a little bit, or go outside and play in the dirt, or go do something silly. And my masculine energy has set up enough structure that my feminine and inner child can do that freely without having to worry that everything's going to fall apart, right? I also feel like it would help you to shift up your routine just a little bit, because in shifting up your routine, you're going to invite in new experiences, new ideas, new people even, and open up a new path for you. And what you're not seeing is the Fool card, like the benefit of innocence, the benefit of connecting to your inner child, the benefit of letting your inner child free, because this is your energy this month. Nine of Wands and Five of Swords is somebody that is very, very protective of their energy, very protective of what they've worked for, and valid, like completely valid, right? But when you are in this level of protection with your energy, anything that you're wanting to call towards you, anything that you're wanting to receive, it can't come through, right? The bad stuff can't come in, but the good stuff can't come in either. And again, I'm not saying just completely, throw caution to the wind and ruin or risk losing everything you've worked for. I'm not saying, not saying that. But know that when your energy is overly protective, it creates tension in your energetic field, in your auric field, right? And that means that the good stuff can't flow to you, right? It means that what you're going to connect to more easily is the lower vibration stuff, is the egoic stuff, is the tension, the fear, the combativeness from other people, right? So you want to be able to expand your energy in terms of receiving. And it's really, it says a lot about how much you have done and how much you have accomplished, because it's not going to take a drastic shift in your energy. It's just a matter of shifting your consistent routine just a little bit, enough to be present, even in your conversations with other people, right? Your connections with other people, the connections that you've had for a long period of time. It's easy to kind of like, okay, I already know how this relationship is. I already know how this person is. Change the way you are approaching that relationship. I'm not saying to change yourself, right? But change the interaction enough to where you are fully present within the interaction and the conversations, right? Like if you, I have a client that is like always, or like since I've started working with this client, they've always been, very like tense and very on edge. And so the messages that they send usually are like very, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like very high intensity kind of messages, right? Very anxiety ridden messages. And because I've worked with this person for so long, I have the tendency to assume if a long message comes in that they are extremely anxious and they're worried and they're this and they're this and they're this, right? And so I will go in with that assumption a lot of times. And I had to stop myself and go, I can't assume that they're always anxious, because it's easy to interpret a text message, right? It's easy to misinterpret a text message. And so I've had to like make sure that I'm slowing myself down to really read what they're saying without the assumption that they're anxious, right? Because that's how they've always showed up to me. And when I made sure that I started doing that, it was easier for me to see the progress that they have been making, right? So just keep that in mind. Again, it's not a drastic change. It's not anything drastic that you need to do, but your guides are saying it's time for you to start receiving. You've done good work. You need to be in the space of relaxing, receiving, enjoying the fruits of your labor, right? Enjoying, you've worked your ass off for how long, right? You've saved up all this money from working. It's okay for you to spend it and have fun. Again, I'm not encouraging for you to just go to Vegas and blow your money, obviously, but it's okay to let your hair down a little bit. Love you guys. Have a good month.